the dusty blue marble. They laughed when Earth was mentioned in the Galactic Council. A primitive rock circling a minor yellow star, tucked away in an ignored spiral arm. No warp lanes passed near it. No great history was written upon it. For most of the galaxy, Earth didn't even register as background noise. Until the Varnak invasion. The Varnak were a war-born species, hulking, scaled, and brutal. They'd swept through 7 systems before targeting Sol, expecting Earth to fall in days. They underestimated the one thing no sensor could measure: human resolve. Admiral Kael'Zor of the Varnak fleet broadcast his ultimatum from orbit: surrender or be exterminated. Earth, battered from centuries of internal conflict, economic collapse, and climate damage, answered not with a white flag, but with silence. Then they fired back. Human weapons were crude by galactic standards. No plasma, no antimatter, just kinetic metal and nuclear fire. But they were devastatingly efficient. Varnak drop pods were shot out of the sky by decades-old missile defense grids. Human pilots, flying outdated jets and makeshift space fighters, kamikazed into Varnak warships, tearing hulls open with little more than raw determination. For every city razed, 10 more rose in resistance. From underground bunkers in Siberia to the scorched deserts of Africa, humanity fought with a unity it had never known before. The Varnak expected submission. Instead, they got rage. By the end of the 3rd month, the Varnak flagship was brought down over the Pacific by a repurposed mining laser powered by a network of linked solar satellites. The fall of Kael'Zor became the moment the galaxy began to take Earth seriously. The footage spread across star systems. Billions watched in disbelief as humans, those backwater primitives, not only repelled a superior force but reversed the invasion. They salvaged Varnak tech, deciphered it in weeks, and began building their own ships. Not copies, improvements. Faster, deadlier, more adaptable. Then Earth did something no one expected. They reached out, not with conquest in mind, but with diplomacy, trade, and relentless curiosity. Former enemies, minor empires, and neutral worlds found themselves in awe as humans negotiated with the same fervor they had fought with. Earth became a nexus of innovation and cultural exchange, a place where art, science, and strategy collided. In less than 2 decades, Earth had gone from unknown to indispensable. The Galactic Council, shaken by its failure to predict Earth's rise, begrudgingly voted to relocate its capital to Sol. Humanity's raw adaptability, brutal tenacity, and surprising empathy had reshaped the galaxy's future. Now, the once mocked dusty blue marble hosts the Grand Convergence, an annual summit of hundreds of species, all orbiting Earth, now shining as the political and cultural heart of the Milky Way. And in every speech, every policy, and every alliance forged, one truth is repeated. They thought Earth was a backwater. They were wrong. From wreckage to reach. The wreckage of the Varnak fleet still orbited Earth, silent reminders of the war that had changed everything. But to humans, they were more than scars, they were blueprints. It began with scavenger crews. Veterans, engineers, even farmers who had fought in the resistance were now combing through twisted alien steel, dissecting unfamiliar energy cores, and reverse engineering shattered propulsion systems. The first breakthrough came in a Siberian hangar, where a retired Russian physicist and a Nigerian hacker deciphered the Varnak power conversion matrix. What had once powered a destroyer now lit entire cities. Humanity wasn't rebuilding, it was reinventing itself. Within 5 years, Earth launched its first interstellar vessel, the Unity. Not just a ship, but a symbol. Built from salvaged Varnak alloys and human ingenuity, it could outpace Council patrol cruisers and navigate jump lanes previously closed to Earth. But it didn't carry weapons. Instead, it carried diplomats, scientists, and historians. The mission was simple: explore, understand, and earn respect not through fear, but through contribution. What followed shocked the galaxy. Human doctors cured the Vrailan plague that had ravaged a dozen worlds for 2 centuries. Earth's linguists created a universal translation algorithm so effective that species who had warred for generations could finally speak without violence. Even the most ancient races, stoic, tradition-bound civilizations like the Delvari, began sending their youth to study in Earth's new interstellar academy. But not everyone welcomed humanity's rise. The Zorati combined, an old power that had once ruled entire sectors, saw Earth's ascent as an insult to galactic hierarchy. They challenged Earth's place at the newly forming Core Council, expecting humans to back down from such a confrontation. Earth didn't flinch. President Amina Voss, a former resistance fighter turned global leader, stood before the Galactic Tribunal and delivered the speech that would solidify Earth's role as the new center of civilization. We did not ask for war, but we ended one. We did not seek the stars, but we earned them. We will not bow to tradition, because we are the new tradition. Her words echoed across 1,000 worlds. Shortly after, the Zorati Combine fractured, not from war, but from within. Dozens of their border worlds seceded and requested Earth's guidance in forming self-governing councils. Earth responded not with conquest, but with frameworks, systems of liberty, checks, and cooperation that many alien species had never conceived. And so the stars changed. Old powers faded. New alliances formed. Where once stood a planet dismissed as irrelevant, now pulsed the gravitational center of galactic progress. Earth was no longer the dust-choked battlefield of a forgotten war. It had become a beacon, a forge, not of dominance, but of destiny. Enemies at the gate. The rise of Earth did more than reshape alliances. It unsettled the old guard. Deep within the Obsidian Nebula, the Ketheri ascendancy watched with growing unease. Unlike the Zorati Combine, they had not challenged Earth directly. They studied, they waited, and what they saw terrified them. To the Ketheri, civilization was measured by age, ritual, and hierarchy. For 10,000 years, they had kept order through fear and precision. They ruled by stagnation. Yet Earth, young, unpredictable, chaotic, had not only disrupted that order, it had become admired. Worse, it had become emulated. Revolts flared across Ketheri territory. Colonies began questioning their ancient caste laws. New generations, exposed to Earth's broadcasts, music, philosophy, and stories, no longer whispered rebellion. They sang it aloud. For the Ketheri High Council, there was only one solution: elimination. A fleet of 50 Ketheri warships emerged from dark space near Jupiter, cloaked, silent, and deadly. Their target was not military. It was symbolic. The Galactic Convergence Station, a vast orbital hub where Earth hosted thousands of alien dignitaries, students, and scientists. A place that embodied everything the Ketheri feared. They expected a swift strike. Shock and awe. But they had misunderstood humanity's lesson. Earth had not become strong because of war. It had become wise because of it. The station's defense grid activated within seconds. Not automated weapons, but allied ships. Dozens of them. Elvari cruisers, Tarnathi frigates, even former Zorati patrol corvettes, all under human-coordinated command. It was not Earth that fired first. It was the galaxy that defended Earth. Still, the battle was brutal. The Ketheri tore through the first wave, their advanced plasma lances carving space like razors. 2 allied ships were vaporized. The station's outer ring buckled. Panic spread. Then came the Ember Wings. Human-designed fighters, sleek, red, AI-assisted, emerged from Earth's lunar yards. Smaller than their alien counterparts, but faster. Smarter. Piloted by humans and allied volunteers, they didn't engage in frontal assault. They darted like sparks, targeting engine cores and sensor arrays. Disabling. Disrupting. Commander Sora Elbak here led the squadron that crippled the Ketheri flagship by flying through its engine exhaust to deliver a precision warhead. Her ship never made it back, but her sacrifice turned the tide. In less than an hour, the Ketheri fleet was routed. Captured, not destroyed. President Voss, speaking from the convergence chamber even as repairs began, refused to call it a victory. This was not an act of war. This was a test. And Earth did not stand alone. In the aftermath, something changed across the stars. Earth was no longer simply the capital of galactic diplomacy. It had become the shield of free civilizations. For every species that had once ignored that blue world, there now existed a silent oath. If Earth falls, we all fall. And Earth had no intention of falling again. The world that leads. 50 years had passed since the Varnak invasion. 50 years since Earth was dismissed as a forgotten speck in a distant arm of the galaxy. Now, it stood as the undeniable center of interstellar civilization, not by conquest, but by conviction. The Galactic Convergence Station, once a daring experiment in diplomacy, now orbited Earth like a second moon. Its vast chambers rang with the voices of 1,000 species, debating, dreaming, and shaping the future together. Beneath it, Earth's surface had changed too, not just rebuilt but transformed. Once polluted cities gleamed with vertical forests and anti-grav rail systems. Coastal megacities floated, immune to the rising tides of Earth's past. Languages blended into a new, fluid form of galactic standard, seeded by human linguists and shared through universal translators. Even the night sky sparkled differently now, with the soft glow of peacekeeping satellites and trade convoys crossing the solar system. But peace, as always, was not permanent. It was earned and defended. And Earth had learned how to defend without domination. When a rogue AI uprising threatened the Vegas systems, it was a joint Earth-led task force, comprised of humans, silicon-based Virilians, and insectoid Mokhthari, that restored order without genocide. When famine struck the twin worlds of Ith, Earth's agritech networks beamed down engineered seeds that grew in frozen soil and fed billions. Yet the greatest challenge came not from fleets or famines, but from within. Some humans, emboldened by Earth's rise, began to whisper of a new empire, of rightful rule over the stars. They saw the galaxy's admiration as submission. They wanted to take, not lead. They called themselves the Sole Dominionists. Their numbers were few, but their influence was growing. They sabotaged trade missions. They leaked propaganda. They pushed for Earth to close its borders, to hoard its knowledge. It was the Council of New Athens, a body founded in the ruins of the old UN, that made the pivotal choice. In a rare unanimous vote of Earth's governing nations and allied worlds, they reaffirmed humanity's guiding principle: unity without tyranny, leadership without rule. Earth would remain open, transparent, collaborative, not because it was weak, but because it was strong enough not to need control. When the Dominionists attempted a violent coup during the opening day of the 50th Convergence Summit, they were stopped not by soldiers, but by students. Young beings from dozens of worlds, studying at Earth's Interstellar Academy, stood together to form a living barrier. Armed with nothing but conviction, they stalled the attack until security forces intervened. Images of a human girl and a reptilian youth linking arms before a detonator lit up the galactic networks. The message was clear. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a symbol of resilience born in war, of wisdom shaped by struggle, of peace held firm by those once broken. They had thought Earth was a backwater. Now, it was the heart that beat for the galaxy, and it would never be ignored again.